Hi guys, today we're going to be going over speeding ticket. So in this problem, Bessie the cow has stolen Farmer John's tractor and she's taken it on the road. The road that she's driving on is 100 miles long, and Bessie drives the entire length of the road before ultimately getting pulled over by a police officer who gives Bessie a ticket for exceeding the speed limit and other things. So so basically, Bessie questions whether the officer was right about the speeding ticket, and so we're gonna test that. And the road that she drove on is divided into n segments, each described by a positive integer length in miles, as well as an integer speed limit in the range 1 through 100 miles per hour. So each segment of a road has its own speed limit, and basically all the lengths of the n segments will add up to 100 because the road we're driving on is 100 miles long. And for example, the road might start with a segment of 45 miles with the speed limit 70, then it might end with a segment of 55 miles with speed limit 60. So Bessie's journey can also be described by a series of segments, m of them, and during each segment she's traveled a certain positive integer number of miles at a certain speed. So she might be traveling 50 miles at a speed of 65, then another 50 miles at a speed of 55. The lengths of all M segments add up to total 100 total miles, and Farmer John's tractor can drive 100 miles per hour at its fastest. Given the information above, please determine the maximum amount over the speed limit that Bessie travels during any part of her journey. So basically, we have the road that's divided into segments with each segment with its own speed limit, and we have Bessie driving down the road with her segments divided up, and these are the speeds that she goes at during these segments. So yeah, the first line of input contains n and m. This is the amount of segments and the amount of Bessie's journey segments. And then each end line contains two integers describing a road segment, length, and speed limit. It's similar thing just for Bessie's journey. And we just need to output a single line containing the maximum amount over the speed limit Bessie drove during any part of her journey. If she never exceeds the speed limit, please output 0. So basically, in the sample input, Bessie is Bessie's journey is this one, and then the road is this one because remember it's the first three is the road, and then the last three is Bessie. So the answer would be 5 because the maximum amount over the speed limit that Bessie goes is 5. So basically, what this is saying is that pretty much all it's saying is the first 40 miles, right? Bessie goes a little bit over the speed limit because the speed limit's 75 and Bessie goes 76. The next 50 miles, right? The speed limit is 35. So basically, up until this point, Bessie is at 60 miles. So we're still not past this yet. So we go on to the next one and we're driving at 40 miles per hour, which is 5 miles over the speed limit here, hence why the answer is 5. So this might have been a little confusing. I'm going to visualize it in a number line, similarly like I did with the previous problem. So as you can see, we have a number line, and basically this is just simulating the road that we have. Okay, so in this road, we start and we have this is the segments of the road, and then this is going to be Bessie, right? So for the segments, I'm gonna label them with red, and it's gonna be on top. So the first 40, this is gonna have a speed limit of 75, and then the next 50, so that would be up until 90, would have a speed limit of 35, and then the next 10 is going to have a speed limit of 45. And then I'm gonna label these with yellow. The first 40, Bessie's gonna go at a speed of 76 miles per hour. The next 20, Bessie's gonna go at a speed of 30 miles per hour. And finally, she will go at 40 miles per hour. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna check how much is Bessie going over the speed limit by in each time, right? So over here, she's going over by just one, right? Over here, she's under by five. And then here, she's over by five, right? So that's our max right now. And then here, she's under by five. So it looks like being under by five, right, as we already know, is the answer here. So this is just our thought process. This is how we're going to have to look at the problem in order to solve it. So yeah, we can start programming now. Okay, so we have some static variables, and this is basically just n and m, which is telling us how many segments there are for the road and for Bessie. And then we have limit and speed. Limit is just going to be the speed limit for all the segments of the road, and speed is going to be Bessie's speed for all her segments. So we'll go ahead and set those up in our init method. So yeah, and then basically we're just going to take in the next line, and then we're gonna put that into n and m. So n is going to be equal to the next token, but the integer value of the next token. And the same thing goes for m, so we can just copy paste that in and change it to n. And then we need to set up our arrays before taking anything into them. So we're going to do that now. Okay, now that we have our array list set up, what we're going to do is we're going to take in the inputs line by line, and then we're going to put them into limit first and then speed. How this is going to work is, let's say that we have a segment of a road that's like 50 miles long and has a speed limit of 40. Then there's basically going to be in this in the array list, there's going to be 50 elements that have the value of 40. So yeah, that's how we're going to be checking. So we'll just do for into I equals 0, I is less than n, and then we'll do we'll take in the another line, and then for now we're just going to have temporary variables. Um, and then this is just going to be, the first one is going to be um, our length, segment length, and the next one is going to be our actual speed. And so remember the example that I said, right? If we have 50 and 40, that means we have 50 of 40, right? So after we set these up, what we're gonna do is we can just put those into the actual array list with another for loop. So and then limit dot add, and it's gonna be b. Okay, and so yeah, that makes that's what's gonna put all those into the array list itself. And then we can just do the same thing for speed, except we put it as speed here, and we put it as m here, because m is the array, or the integer that counts how many segments Bessie has. So yeah, pretty straightforward stuff so far. Next we can just do the solve method. Solve method is also very simple. For this solve method, we're just going to have an array, an integer, and that integer is just going to store the maximum difference between the actual speed and the speed limit. So for int I equals 0, I is less than, and then we know that it's going to be 100, right? So I plus plus, because the road is 100 miles long, obviously. So we'll do if speed dot get I minus limit dot get I is greater than, and then we actually need a int that's going to store the answer. And so we'll just say max. So basically, if this is greater than the max that we have right now, then max would be equal to, and it's just this. So yeah, it's just saying if the current speed, right, minus the speed limit is larger than the max, right, then we're going to put that into our max. And this could be, for example, if we have a speed of 45 and a speed limit of 40, then we're going 5 miles over the speed limit, so that's just going to be the new max, right? And then we'll just output this, and that is going to be it for our code. So now we can go ahead and submit. So yeah, as you guys can see, we passed all of the test cases with our solution. So that's the speeding ticket problem. If you guys have any questions about this problem in particular, feel free to leave a comment. And as always, thank you guys for